Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing John Grisham's newest thriller, just came out this week. It is called The Judge's List. Excuse me. Edit that right out. Anyway, this is the sequel to The Whistler. If you ever read The Whistler or saw my review of The Whistler, it stars a character named Lacey Stoltz, who is part of Florida's Board of Judicial Conduct. And what the Board of Judicial Conduct is, well, they make sure the judges are conducting themselves, according to the law and ethics and all that. This is kind of like the internal affairs for judges. So in The Whistler, the previous book, starring Lacey Stoltz, we got to meet Lacey Stoltz and see one of her adventures as she investigated a corrupt judge. Well, now she's got a different problem. But let's talk about that in a minute, because we always review the covers first, because I love graphic design and cover illustration. So let's take a look at this. It's pretty cool. It looks like it's a dock. So someone is walking underneath a dock. So we've got some water here, the dock up above, the reflection of the dock in the water. It's good. It's colorful. It's good. All of John Grisham's books are pretty simple, with just his big name up front and a nice font. Nice silver font. Overall, it's good. Oh, there's no photo of the guy on the back. Usually there's a big, huge photo of him on the back. But anyway, let's talk about the book itself. So, Lacey Stoltz, Florida Board of Judicial Conduct, Internal Affairs, who investigates judges. They don't get a lot of work. In fact, it's one of the smaller departments in the state of Florida. It's just like a couple people doing the job. And Lacey's been doing it for quite a while. She's 40 years old now, and she's sick of her job. She's tired of it. She's like, this is crap. Hate it. Hate it. However, she likes the lifestyle that the money gives her. Not only that, but she's a single woman at 40, never been married. She likes living alone, being single for 40. I get that. I got divorced. I was married for a time, but I got divorced a long time ago, and I've been single ever since. Once you've been single for a while, you just fall into a pattern where you don't want anybody in your house, especially staying overnight. You just don't. And that's the way she is. She's just like, there was an ejection button on her bed after, things happen with the date that you brought home. If there was an ejection button on her bed that she could just push, and the door would open up in her roof, and a catapult would just catapult the person out of her house, that's what she would do. I've often dreamed of that very similar setup. You just don't want anybody in your space. If you've been living alone for a while, you just don't. It's just so foreign. I don't know if I can stress this enough. People out there in the world, if you're single and you've lived alone for a while, put in the comments what a joy and pleasure it is. Anyway, that's not even part of the plot. The plot is she meets this lady named Jerry Crosby. Now, Jerry Crosby is very dodgy. She doesn't want to give away her name real soon. She doesn't want to meet in a public place. It has to be in a secretive hotel room. And it's like, Lacey's like, I'm not gonna play these games where I go meet you in a secret hotel room. I don't know if there's someone in that hotel room that once I get there, they're gonna bonk me over the head and harvest my organs, and I'm gonna wake up in a bath of ice water. She's like, I'm just be a normal person and tell me what your problem is. So they eventually meet at a diner. And Jerry Crosby says, well, the reason I'm being so secretive is because I know about this judge somewhere in Florida who killed my father. He killed my father a long time ago, and I want him to come to justice. And Lacey's like, okay, so it's like one of those cold cases, like an unsolved murder mystery. And she's like, yes, but I know for a fact that it's this particular judge, and you need to investigate him in regards to this murder. And Lacey's like, well, I mean, that's not really my job to investigate murders. And she's like, well, here's the thing. Not only do I think that this judge killed my father a long time ago, but I think he's a serial killer, and he's been killing people for years and getting away with it because he's a judge and he knows how to commit crimes without getting caught. And now Lacey's getting a little more interested, and she's like, "Oh, really? Well, how do you know that this guy's a serial killer over all these years?" And then the girl, what was her name? I just said her name. Jerry Crosby says, I know this because I've been stalking this man for his entire life. And Lacey's like, well, that's not weird at all. But she starts investigating. Sure enough, there's some... I won't give away any spoilers, but there may or may not be some truth to Jerry Crosby's story about this judge being a serial killer. So now this is John Grisham's first, and I've read every John Grisham novel, and I think this might be his first. He usually does legal thrillers, courtroom dramas. Sometimes there's a murder or something happens, but this is literally his first, actual serial killer thriller. So, congrats to him for branching out and trying something different with a serial killer thriller thing. And it goes down those kind of predictable paths where things get semi-creepy. John Grisham does not write R-rated novels. I'll just tell you that right now. So it's a little hard to do a serial killer book complete justice when you're keeping everything at a PG-13 level. And that would be the only criticism I have of the book. Because like every other John Grisham thriller, it's got a great pace, it's got great intrigue, it's got interesting characters, it's got things develop and develop and develop, and there's cliffhanger after cliffhanger after cliffhanger within the chapters, and it's got that great... There's a reason John Grisham sells a ton of books, is because he knows how to write a really good thriller novel. Which this is. It just could have been a little more bloody and violent for me. If we're going to go down the serial killer path, let's do it. Let's go all the way. Let's Silence of the Lambs this motherfucker. But he didn't. It's, which I think dials back a little bit of the tension. But anyway, I actually really liked the novel. I love everything John Grisham does. He's one of my favorites. I've got every single John Grisham book right there on my shelf. And so I give the new John Grisham book a solid 8 out of 10. So let's go out and buy it, read it, and enjoy it.